A blessed day to all of us. This could be the most or one of the most momentous and memorable graduation day because this could be the last virtual graduation that you will be attending. To our graduates' parents, congratulations. And let me share with you 6 lessons we have learned from the lockdown and pandemic. You might be wondering, why lessons from pandemic at this graduation or completion day? Because we all know that the best lessons are learned during hard times, and the best lessons we learned are during the most difficult times of our lives. Let me start with the first lesson, and it's about family. Family and home is indeed a gift. We realize that during pandemic, our bonding time with our husbands, with our children, are the longest during this time. During this pandemic, we come to learn that we come to know more of our children because we spend most of our time. We could eat lunch, breakfast, and dinner together. We come to know more about each other during this pandemic. And I think the best place we could be during the lockdown is our respective homes, di ba? It's the safest place we could be. And we realized that without a family during the lockdown could be the scariest thing because indeed family is a gift from God. The next lesson which I would like to share with you is about when you have all the reasons to quit, never ever quit. I would say resiliency, the best characteristic of Filipinos, and adaptability are the keys why we survive all this. Some of our lolos and lolas may have been born or alive during the World War II, and they experienced that schools were closed for 4 years during pandemic. But we at the Department of Education, we continued. We opted to provide education and tried our best to provide quality education through printed modules, through online learning, through radio-based or TV-based instructions. In other words, we do not allow pandemic. We may consider schools to be closed because from time to time, parents go to school to get their students' module, but it's never quitting. We never stop providing education because we know what will happen if pandemic would last for 5 years. Does it mean 5 taon hindi papasok yung mga bata? So, kung grade 7 ka ngayon, dapat 4 na taon yung maaaksaya sa'yo. But we all believe that never stop at the most difficult time or giving way to pandemic will not develop better individuals, better citizens of the country, of the world. So as a person, as learners, I know in your young life, in your student life, there would be difficulties that would come your way. It could be a heartbreak, pwede kang ma-heartbroken, pwede kang there would be some challenges in your life like sickness, financial challenges, and other trials that may come your way. But never quit. Just like us, don't stop because these are just things those are temporary things. Daanan mo lang. Learn to fight. Learn to survive. As I have stated, thank God we are all alive after almost 3 years of the COVID virus. We are here because we never quit living. We never stop breathing. We never stop studying. And we are learning. The next lessons which I would like to highlight is about be like ants. Yung mga langgam. Well, we all know that the most important characteristic of the ants they are capable of they invest wisely during summertime. Ano bang ginagawa ng mga langgam? Di ba they try to store food preparing themselves or preparing for the rainy days. Investing wisely means putting your best in the resources that you have. Resources can be time, it can be money, it can be your talent. So, be like us. We never know when the next pandemic or when the next trials of your life may come your way. But if you have invested on something, like kung may pera kang nilagay sa bangko, meron kang mawi-withdraw. Kung ikaw ay nag-aral na mabuti, for me, and I think your parents would agree with me that education is the best investment. That's why your parents are working hard for you to be able to get good education. So, what will be your job as students? Study harder, because if you invest wisely by reading books, studying well, meron kang huhugutin pagdating ng kinabukasan mo. Hindi ka magugutom. Kung may edukasyon ka, meron kang magandang trabaho na pwede mong makuha. So, invest wisely, be like ants. The next lesson is about life itself is a lesson. Again, connected to dun sa number 3, dun sa third lesson, which is investing wisely. No? Whether you like it or not, being in isolation can be taken in a positive or in a negative way. As I have stated, isolation by itself is very nega, because man is a social being. But look at it this way. I myself, I was able to experience, deep and dark isolation when I contacted COVID. And when I was at home, trying to get well, to recover, I came to realize and to learn a lot of things. I realized that reading more, researching more, will help me overcome my boredom. Just like you, what have you learned? What skills have you learned from isolation? For our students, ano bang natutunan nyo during wala kayong ginagawa? You know, let's not allow boredom and negativity for us to bring out the best in us. Alam ko during pandemic, maraming naging plantita, maraming mga fur babies tayo, marami tayong good habits that we develop. And this is what I'm telling you, that we learn, let's make, or let's be optimistic instead of being more negative. Huwag tayong maging nega sa pagkakataon na tayo ay naiinip na. May kasabihan that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Pag wala kang ginagawa, doon pumapasok lahat ng mga negativity. So instead of swallowing or wallowing in self-pity, learn to adapt, learn to think, or why don't you come up with some good things that you can develop, skills that you can develop. As I have stated, napakarami pwede kang mag-alaga ng isda, ang dami mong pwedeng gawin. Spending more time with your parents, having a nice conversation, a simple meal, learning how to cook can be a good way of overcoming some negativity and anxieties that you might have felt during isolation or during a long stay of lockdown. Another lesson which I think is very, very important is there's always good in every bad situation. I think this is somewhat connected with bringing out the best in some of the worst situation. This can only be overcome when you don't put a limit on what you can do. For the students, sa mga graduates natin, young adults, marami tayo kasi mga self-imposed limitation, like isipin natin, hindi ako mag-i-engineering kasi mahina ako sa math. Hindi ako kukuha ng journalism kasi hindi ako marunong sa English. But these are, before you know it, these are just self-imposed limitations. Because when you put a limit right there and there, chances are you're not giving yourself an opportunity to grow. And I hope this pandemic has taught you that stretching your limit is the best way for us to survive this pandemic. And yun yung napatunayan natin. Kasi kung hindi tayo naging adaptive, if you don't adapt in the modular or printed modular system, if you don't allow or if you don't adapt to online distance learning, hindi ka matututo. You know, this pandemic has robbed us in a lot of things. During the last 3 years that we are in lockdown, maraming pagkakataon na hindi tayo nakapag-celebrate ng birthday na kasama natin yung mga friends, family members. Maraming pagkakataon na we're not able to shake hands, we're not able to see eye to eye or face to face with our loved ones and other friends. But I hope this pandemic would also somehow taught us a lot of things that life during pandemic has taught us many lessons. It's a lessons to be learned, and we are learning and we are growing. Because that's what life is all about. We continue to learn. It's a learning process. Habang nandito tayo sa mundo, while we are still alive, give yourself an opportunity to learn new things and to better improve yourself and to overcome your fears. Do not impose limits on what you can do. And finally, last but not the least, is it takes really a village to educate a child. I guess every parents would agree with me that tutoring or helping your kids to answer their respective modules is not very easy. You realize now, ang hirap palang magturo. Ang hirap pala ng buhay ng isang teacher. I hope parents would realize that it's not an easy task to teach your children. And for us, DepEd, you know, there are 27 million Filipino learners across the country. And during pandemic, during the opening of the limited face-to-face, which started last November, we realized, and I hope many parents would realize, that the excitement that the students felt during the first day of the limited face-to-face is an indication by itself that students, children, or youth miss school. Iba yung face-to-face engagement with the teachers. Teachers remain to be the most essential factor in the learning environment. Yung face-to-face, hindi natin matatawaran na kaharap natin yung nagtuturo sa atin. And parents would realize it's very difficult if you play the role of a parents and teachers at the same time. And we at the Department of Education, we just don't stop. We embrace the challenge kahit may pandemic pa, kailangan buksan na ang klase because this is one realization. Statistics would show that many students who know how to read and write, unlearn. When you say unlearn, yung mga dating marunong magbasa, at magsulat, after almost 3 years of lockdown, na hindi sila pumapasok ng face-to-face sa school, nakalimutan nila kung paano magbasa at magsulat. This is very alarming because in education, there's these principles that after so long a time that you don't get to practice, you might forget it. That's the principle of unlearning. And so, with what we have gone through during pandemic, as an educator, I would like to congratulate all the teachers, the institution that you represent, the administrators, because we are slowly getting back to the normal. It may not be the old normal because it would never be 100% capacity in the school. That means we will be implementing hybrid learning wherein there would be students going to school and there would be students who are still online or in their modular scheme, but this should be done alternately in order to provide measures that will help or prevent the spread of virus. As the vaccination rate increases and as the COVID cases decline, I hope our aim or our goal to put premium on education never fades.